Well, hello, my name is Brent. I am the owner of C4F, where we teach online fitness coaches and all different types of industries at this point how to overcome sales objections and scale their business with lots and lots of profits. My main dig, the sustainable growth model. If you guys know me, you probably have seen a little bit of what I stand for. I own and operate a business that requires probably 15 to 20 hours worth of work every single week. I have great profits. I have a great life, and I am a big fan of this model. That's what I want and hope to extend upon to others. If you want to learn more, go ahead and go through any of my content here on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. It would mean the absolute world to me. Now, listen, guys, there is a good chance you're being too nice. You're too nice, and people don't take you serious. Okay, you're too agreeable. You're too soft on the calls, and I say soft. When I say soft, I mean like you don't challenge enough, right? And so when we're too nice on the calls, when we're attempting to build rapport and build a friendship, we want to avoid making someone feel uncomfortable. Okay, and sometimes a little bit of discomfort is what is required to grow. Humans do not thrive under ideal conditions, right? Think back of a time in your life where you were forced to grow because of non-ideal conditions that were kind of happening in your life, whether it be putting yourself through college, being completely broke, whether it be leaving a relationship that you knew wasn't right, but you weren't comfortable, and maybe were a little bit scared to enter the dating market again, or to be on your own for a little while. Humans grow in non-ideal conditions. Discomfort is required. Okay, we are not plants. We don't thrive under these perfect conditions. Okay, so when you're too nice, a few things happen. One, you can actually validate their current situation, which keeps them in their comfort zone. Okay. Number two, you avoid challenging them and their limiting beliefs, so they don't really see how lack of action, right, can actually cause more discomfort for them down the road. Like, yes, they're comfortable, right, because it's the devil they know, but they don't realize that staying in this situation can actually lead to more discomfort down the road. They just don't see it. It's not top of mind, right? I'm 5'4", 300 pounds, but it's comfortable because it beats being uncomfortable going to the gym, eating well, acknowledging some of the maybe past traumas or things that have led me to be in this position. It's just easier to continue doing what they're doing. And it's only easier because it's a gradual change until they start to have those real health problems down the road. And that's why it's up to you. And we're going to dive into this. It's up to you to be that thorn in their side, even just for a moment, if it incites change. So one, you validate their current situation. Two, you avoid challenging them so they don't really realize how uncomfortable the situation actually is. And three, you fail to establish this gap between you're here and you could be here. This is actually possible for you, but you don't see that as a real option because you're kind of lost in the thick of things, right? And again, it's not that I'm here and you're here. It's understanding where they're at, right? Understanding where they're at, and also understanding that it requires a firm approach to get them to kind of pull them out from the depths of hell there. Again, back to the relationship analogy. Have you been in a relationship where maybe your friends around you were like, hey man, that's toxic, hey, you should get out of it, but you maybe didn't see it that way? You didn't have that perspective when you were in the relationship. I choose relationship because it's the easiest reference. Most people can agree with that, but if not, go ahead and pause the podcast here, because the more you can relate to this, the more you can use that tactical empathy, right? That tactical storytelling, okay? Because we've all been in these situations, genuinely we have, where we just don't see it from that outside perspective, okay? So that's what happens when we're too nice. And look, most people know what they need to do, at least general concept, 30,000 foot view. If you're fat, you know that if you exercise more, I hate saying eat less, but probably eat less, eat more carefully, you'll lose weight. People know that. They're not dumb. This isn't new science. But the implementation is where they fall short, right? Because if everybody was just hyper motivated, there wouldn't be a fat person that exists. because we all know, we all saw, the food pyramid growing up. Not that that's any good, but we understand the general concept of how to lose weight. And if people were innately motivated and held themselves accountable, no personal trainers would exist. Okay, so they know what they need to do, but they need someone to actually get them to take the action to do it. And there's a good chance that if you're being too nice, if you're focusing too much on keeping them comfortable, keeping them happy, you're not going to be the one that incites change. In fact, the thing that will incite change will be a heart attack or a stroke or some crazy scare eventually. Or even if it's not on that level, maybe it's some embarrassment. Maybe it's lack of confidence in going out and doing the things they want to do. Maybe they notice themselves doing less. Like it will happen, but you're not going to be the one that incites that because you're trying too hard to be likable. Okay. So be firm, but fair. Growth does not happen in ideal conditions for humans, okay? Firm but fair. People need guidance, and people respect confidence, okay? Now, there's an important concept to understand, though. You cannot influence someone who feels judged by you, okay? Think about that. You cannot influence someone who feels judged. So while we're being firm and we're trying to pull them from their comfort zone and we're having the not so fun conversation with them, you can't come off in a way that you're judging them, that you're speaking down to them, okay? There are levels to this. There are different tone shifts that are required to let them know, hey, I understand, but let's get it together here. Come on. I appreciate you coming to the call. And in reality, taking that first step is huge. But a lot of people get lost after taking that first step because they feel like they did something, okay? The results don't come from step one. In fact, they come from step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. They come from the consistency of doing this for weeks and months. So while I appreciate you being here and getting on this call, nothing's going to change until you take another step tomorrow. And then we'll talk about that next step the next day. Okay. But nothing's going to change just by showing up to this call. Do you agree? And so that's a frame that I will use on a lot of my calls. And it gets them to realize, oh shit, yeah, I did do something, but that something is really just a precursor to taking that next step and actually getting results. Okay. So being firm but fair, and then the reason I wanted you guys to pause earlier is because the more that you can relate to them, the better it comes across. Okay. Now, I don't want you sitting here every time they say something, it's like, oh, me too, or I was there. Oh, I get it. Right. Like we have to still keep the conversation centered around them. But there's this thing called, tactical storytelling. And if you've been through something similar and you can take 30 to 60 seconds to just kind of relate to them and let them know, like, hey, you had to pull yourself out of a comfortable position to gain a new perspective, to get new results, to take new actions. If you can tell a story that's compelling and visual and that they resonate with in some capacity, you will sell more people than you won't. You'll get more yeses than nos, and you'll probably sell at 60, 70%, especially when you can add in the tone shifts, the cadence, the storytelling, the firmness. When you can add in all of that together, it's smooth. I mean, it's like jazz. Okay. You're going to dance through a sales call 30, 40 minutes, and you're going to find that people are just saying yes. Those finance objections become very easy to handle because there's belief in themselves. There's belief in the program. They'll find the money because they truly feel that this is what's required for them to get where they want to go. Okay. So being firm but fair, not buying into their BS. I think I went to a seminar this past weekend, specifically around sales. It was amazing. It was so cool to meet so many of my mentors that have been mentoring me for years, some of the best salespeople in the world. And I think my biggest takeaway from that was just not buying into people's BS, right? Like when we're on a call, we have 45 to 60 minutes to change someone's life. And I'll be damned if I don't give that everything I have, right? Because every call you get on, whether they're qualified or not, they should be qualified in some capacity, but whether they're qualified or not, you have the opportunity to change someone's life, and they might not like it. They might come in kicking and screaming, but they know that they need to do it. They know that it's required. They know that you're the person that's going to challenge them. and have the uncomfortable conversation. You're the person that they trust to help them grow and get out of their own way. And so what it comes down to is, don't buy into their BS. By you buying into their story, you can understand their story, you can resonate with their story, but if you buy into it, if you buy into their limiting beliefs, they will never grow. They won't. And so you have to equip yourself with the sales skills to be able to change people's lives. Everyone, when I tell people I coach sales, when I tell people I coach business, but a large part of that is sales, they get this weird feeling because like sales has a negative connotation, but all sales is the ability to influence someone. And you can use that for good or bad. Obviously, we use it for the positive influence. You can change someone's life. And if you're a fitness coach and you're in this space, I imagine that you got into this space because you want to change lives. If not, you could be doing anything else. You could be selling financial services or done for you biz op or e-com or something like that. And that changes someone's life in a way, right? For sure it does. But changing someone's life from a foundational perspective of helping them get healthy labs, healthy life, confidence, all of these things from such a fundamental standpoint that allows them to grow in different areas of their life. Like, I imagine you're doing what you're doing to change people's lives. Well, the only way to do that is to be good at sales, to be good at influence, and when you get off a call with someone, whether they closed or not, that you help them at least take one step closer to getting themselves in shape, to getting themselves situated. Okay. And while they may not buy now, if they're going to come back around, if they're ever going to take a step, you're the person they're going to come back to 100%, because you're the person that had that conversation that, they didn't like at the time, but they appreciated as they reflected back on it. So guys, hope this helps. Go ahead, like, share, subscribe, stop being so nice on your sales calls. Be a little bit more firm, be willing to call them on their BS. Don't buy into their limiting beliefs, because they will not grow if that's the case. Be the light at the end of the tunnel for these people, influence people into becoming a better version of themselves, and you will be much happier yourself. You will make more money, and they will be happy and refer all the people they can think of. They'll send you all the testimonials, and life will be great. If you want to get better at sales, you know where to go. Hit me up on any social media. Guys, I appreciate you for sticking around. Peace.